Yep. What's going on, people? Back again, Journeyman Podcast. I'm here with my co-host Don Salsa. Back after a long
Come
time.
on, come on.
It's me, AU. Good to see you again, people. But yeah, it's just a quick episode we're gonna be doing today, just to touch base on just some of the international games that we've seen. Even though not really too much of a big fan of the international football, but
No one
a
likes it.
few. Exactly. Just but at least we're only a few days away back to the Premier League starting again. But a couple things you just wanted to just touch on the international break. I think we can start off with just basically, did you catch any of the England games or the results, anything like that?
Do you know what? Unfortunately, I didn't really catch a lot of the games, but I heard a lot of the stories around the games. Um, I'm gonna hit the first one that I saw on social media, which I thought was a bit mad. You know, like it's not a race thing. We know this. Like, obviously, we have England players from all different backgrounds, but from the time you can't even give certain man their flowers when I know they say assists are all part of the game and all of that, but bro,
I know what you're
bro,
talking about. I know what you're talking
bro,
about. It was
like,
wild. Yeah, I saw that. I was wild.
oh,
It was wild.
and then when you really deep it as
It
well, and
was
you just
wild.
think, wow, talk about.
Yeah.
And I don't even. It's not a play on words or anything, but talk about
No, no. Let,
whitewash.
let,
You
let,
know the
let's hit the
ones that.
let's hit the nail on the head. Let's hit the nail on the head. So basically, what my colleague Don Salsa is talking about is when
Standout to him.
Eberici Eze scores an absolute banger, and all the
Wealthy.
commentary they're talking about is, "Oh, look at that weight of pass by Phil Foden." It's like, what? Did they not just see the quality finish that my guy just did? And all you're talking about is the way of pass. Like, it was a decent pass. I'm not gonna take away, like, obviously the way of pass, it looks easier than what it actually was. Yeah, I'll give it that. But to not touch anything about the goal, about how quality of a finish that was, but then to
Oh, it was
focus
mad.
on the pass, yeah, that was crazy. Even when I was seeing that, I was like, yeah, wow, that's a bit wild. That's a bit wild. But two,
Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
Like, I understand it. Like, you see with Foden, yeah, like this whole eyes on Foden. He's not doing amazingly at City. He's
Yeah,
then
he
out
started to play well
right.
recently. He started to play well
Do you know what I
again.
mean? Do you know what I mean? He's picking up his form a bit, but like to be so fixated on just this one guy, like you're one guy, and you didn't even score. Like, bro, an assist can be the ball just hitting you in the back and bouncing off you, and you know what I mean.
Mm.
Goalkeepers get assists these days, bro. It's not that deep, man. Like, give a man his flowers. Like, even if the assist that come through and my man didn't score, then what? You still be talking about the wonderful pass? I like it, man. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, that was wild. But England, to be fair, they've been doing quite well on the Tuchel. I think unbeaten. I think they've basically won all their games, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Qualified,
yeah.
qualified quite comfortably for the World Cup. What do you think about England's chances?
Do you know what? Like, now, obviously, we've all had the Southgate era, you know, with Southgate, do you know what it was? It was everyone saw him as the manager, and no one expected him to do what he done. Like, he super surpassed. He went clear. Like, all right, he didn't win nothing, but to even get England dreaming, the whole country together. Do you know what I mean? After previous kind of, tournaments where a certain man got, let me bring out one of them lovely words from my vocabulary, lambasted. And certain players got lambasted for missing penalties. Like, do you see it? To then bring the country together the way he did for three tournaments in a row. Come on, man. Give the brother his flowers. He done well. So I think under Tuchel, do you know what? The proof is in the pudding. Like, his Chelsea career weren't bad. It weren't great, but it weren't bad.
He won the Champions League at Chelsea.
Yeah, I know, but certain players,
Like,
sorry, not even players.
doesn't get much better than that. Winning the Champions
No, I
League. I'm saying
know,
that.
but the critics. You heard the critics. You know what was going
To be
on.
honest, there wasn't really. I wouldn't say it was critics there at Chelsea. I think what happened, he obviously did well, won the Champions League there, and then obviously the whole stuff with Roman Abramovich, and then the new owners
Mm,
all coming in. I think he just wasn't really happy with the type of control and direction that the club was going in. So then he just left basically. So I think there was a conflict in just the way both parties were trying to operate. But I think he did a good job at Chelsea. I think.
Me personally, I like him. I like him as a manager.
Good manager.
Maybe as England manager, do you know what? He's done what he's is expected of an England manager. You're meant to qualify for these championships. The proof in the pudding will be in the actual tournament itself. Now with Southgate, oh, he's tournament proven now. You know, like after,
Mm.
and the worst thing was like he left club football in such a horrible state as well. Then when he became England manager, everyone questioned it. Now look, now any club in the world would probably not any club in the world, but I exaggerate a bit. But you know what I mean. There are top clubs out there who will take Gareth Southgate off the back of the last how many tournaments he's had, last 6 years he's had. Come on, man. Come on, like
I-
any.
I'll, I'll I'll be honest with you. I'm not really a big Southgate fan, to be fair. I think one thing that he did do is he brought a togetherness to the squad, which I think with England squads that was one thing that has been lacking quite a lot. I don't think there's,
Always.
especially in what the so-called golden era with like the
You
Scholes, Lampard,
remember?
Anthony. I don't think there's ever been an England team that's been as together as this group of players have been. But I think there were certain games against certain big teams where there tactically he did get found wanting, and I think there was certain aspects of just the way he set up the team and the way the team was playing that I feel if he had given that bit more freedom and being and allowing the team to be able to express themselves a bit more, I think the team could have had that extra percentage to go over there and actually win something because if we look at it for in reality, like I think that England team that played Italy in the final of the European Championships, I think that England team on paper with the players that we had should have won that game. And I
Mm.
think if the team
No,
was
I
set
agree
up
with
in
you.
a way to win that game, then I think they could have won that game. Because Italy, if you look at how Italy have been, they're not going to qualify for the World Cup again or something. They could miss out again. So they're even struggling to even qualify for the World Cup. They missed out on the last World Cup. Like they're not even in a good space right now, Italy. Like they have a few good players here and there, but that type of final is a final that he should have been winning. And
No, 100%.
it seems like with him, he always used to have a favorable run where he would beat the teams he's supposed to beat. But then once he comes up against a team where it was actually a team that they should potentially or they could potentially struggle against, then they always typically lost that game. The only game that he won in his tenure that people thought that he might lose, but even again, this team was even not in the best space, was when he beat Germany in the Euros. But
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
that wasn't even the best German team anyway. That was a team that was in transition where I don't think anybody was really expecting anything from that Germany team. But that's the only win I think in the three tournaments that I can say that okay, he's beaten like a big team, and it was a big team that weren't at their best.
No, you're
So
right. Because even his run in the was it? Oh, what tournament was it? I think I want to say European Championships. As soon as England came out the group, the teams that they were beating on that run to the final, they were expected to win those games. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
exactly.
in the grand
He
schemes of
won
things.
all the
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
So he won all the games he was expected to win. But when he came up against the teams where it's like, okay, yeah, this should be like a top
A
50-50
good game. Yeah,
battle.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
have to you have to have the percentages to get over the top and over the edge. He didn't win those games. So
No,
I
no.
think yes, I'm not the biggest fan, but I do give him credit because I think one thing that he did build above anything else is the togetherness in the team. Because I think the squad is a
Yeah,
lot
I
more
think
together,
I'd
and
agree
I
with that.
think that
I'd
will help.
say
I think that will
no, of
help
course.
in future tournaments, even this tournament. Because I think all things being equal, I think England probably have one of the best teams there. So I'd say it's
Yeah,
probably
but
out.
do you know what it is? It's a new generation. Like you see, the older generation that you touched on before, with that, them lot were very hard headed. With the Scholeses, the John Terrys, all of that whole golden generation from let's call it 98 to the early 2000s. All those teams, they you know how they were. They stick to their own. Like United players, are United players, Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Like there was
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
togetherness like that. This new generation, they're not like that. They're all friends. They all chill. You know what I mean? Like even though you should hate a player from another club and all of this and that, it ain't that no more. Like these guys are. these guys are normal and they realize that, you know what, to actually get somewhere, they're gonna have to work with each other, regardless of club loyalties and that you're playing for your country. You know, when you put a badge on for your country, it's different, bro. I swear to you, if I'd ever made it, are you crazy? I'd play for free. I'd give the money that they give me to charity. Why do I need it? I'm already getting paid by my club. Do you see what I mean? The to be on the world stage, to be at a World Cup, to be at a African nations, to be at a European Championships, Asia Cup. You see it? It's an honor. It's different. Gold Cup. It's different, bro. Like nobody could ever tell me that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a bit hurt still because I see something. Yeah, and obviously I don't know if you know where I'm going with this one still, but my cousin from across the way, bro. Like I don't know, you Super Eagles were doing some mad stuff, like you lot were holding your government to ransom for bonus or something like that. Like, bro, what were you man doing?
Bro, it's not even that. Like the whole, like with the Nigerian national team, that they're just a bunch of joke. Well, not the actual team itself necessarily, but the whole setup of the Nigerian football team is just a
It's
whole joke.
mad,
It's a joke. It's
brother.
a
It's
joke to
like if there's no
them.
money, you man don't. I'm
It's
not
not even
saying
about
like
there's no money. It's just the way the actual the Nigerian FA, the way they treat the team is just the next thing. Like they treat it like they're some.
counter
I
them.
don't know.
Yeah, like the
It's
bank
mad.
account to them, man.
It's mad over there. Like I don't even think it's necessarily even about getting bonuses. I think it's just being treated like a professional football. I don't think like these people actually treat the team like a professional team. Like I saw one video of Iwobi. He was showing the hotel that they had these men staying in. And I was
See
like,
that still.
bro,
I know.
like, like
Man, in the
me.
FA, why are you
I'm
not
not even. I'm
standing
not a
up?
footballer. Me myself, I wouldn't go and put myself in that type of hotel. And that's the hotel that they've paid for the team to stay in. So
Ballers as
it's it's,
well.
it's a
You
sham.
see it.
It's a shambolic setup. So it's an amateurish. So
It's
I get where
mad.
they are coming from. Like if you're like at least treat the players like professionals. But I don't really think there's a professional setup over there. But yeah, but we'll get into that stuff a bit more anyway, shortly.
Mm,
But then, so yeah, you were talking about the golden generation stuff like that. I completely agree with what you are saying about the England team. Yes, I think most of them are closer together now. So I think they're happier to be friends with each other. I think back in the day there was a lot of deep rooted rivalries and just it was very sectarian in terms of just the
yeah,
different clubs
common.
with each other. So yeah, so hopefully. Tuchel's, I would say, he's a better manager than Southgate. So hopefully he can take this talented group of players and do one step better than what Southgate was able to do.
Mm.
But yeah, we'll see. There's only time will tell on that. But I do think that he is definitely a better manager than Southgate.
I
And
feel
in
you'll
those
get
type
more
of games,
attacking form out of him.
and I think out in those bigger games where maybe you need to make those tactical tweaks or be able to identify certain flaws in the opposition, I think Tuchel's a much better manager to be able to exploit those type of weaknesses. But I would definitely say England are one of the favourites. I think in terms of their squad, they probably have a top three squad. I would say top three, top four. I'll probably
World
say
Cup.
top three in terms of players, but then I'll say there's other teams in there that you would always actually let's say top five. I'll say top five,
I'd
maybe
give you
in
top five.
in no particular order, but I'll say about the top five teams that I would say is obviously France, Spain, England. I would also say Argentina, and then I would probably throw in Portugal in there as well. I would say
Mm,
I would say those five teams. Like I said, no particular. If I was to pick one to above the rest, actually I was probably say there's two teams that I would probably say are slightly over the rest. I'd say
gone.
Spain and France are in
Yeah,
terms
but
of their squad.
that's because with Spain, that technical ability they've got with this new breed of player that they're producing is amazing. Plus, obviously, got teenage wonder kids in there.
Yeah,
So
I'll
I
say
hear that
those.
one.
I'll say those two teams. I would say are the best teams slightly, but I'll say in terms of the top five, I'd say probably Argentina have the worst squad out of them, but then they just have
100.
that factor. They just have that factor where they've already won the World Cup, so they're seasoned in that, and they're just one of those nations that always usually they can be dangerous in a World Cup setting. So I'll never write them off really. So I'll say those five teams. I'll say going into the tournament.
So who's your wild card then? Come on. I
That's
know
that's
you
what I
got a
was
wild
that's
card.
what I was even about to think. Who would be my wild card in the World Cup?
Like, who do
Um,
you feel could really cause an upset with like the
that,
type
that
of
that's what I'm trying to think. Mm, maybe a Brazil, but would that even be classified as a wild card? But I would say Brazil are kind of in a transition. But I
do you
think
know
they've got
what?
quite a lot
I,
of young players that are coming through that they could
yeah,
potentially
I'd say yeah.
do
I, I'd
something.
ag-
But
I'd agree
uh,
with that
I
just
would say yeah,
because
maybe them.
I'd say Brazil genuinely because in the last few tournaments we've all seen or we've all not seen what we expect from Brazil. Do you see what I mean? Like we've seen some. You have to remember, especially me. I've come from a generation of seeing a transition in Brazil in that national team and seen it done very, very, very well. And then I've also seen it start to fall apart. Do you see what I mean? Like I've seen
Mhm.
from Ronaldo, Carlos, them times to more modern day. You're seeing your Neymar's come through the team. You know what I mean? When Adriano's in the team and you're seeing then another transition and you're seeing it work and tournament by tournament they've done well and then the dip happened and I don't know what it is with Brazil. Like their players do well when they go abroad, when they're playing for their clubs and all of this, but as soon as they get back to the national team it's like they just forget themselves. I don't know, maybe it's the systems they play at their other clubs. I don't know. But for me, I just expect to see naturally gifted footballers just set the world alight. And I don't know, man. What's that old saying that people English people like to use, what, like a damp squid or whatever it's called. I swear. Brother, you're just expecting calamari with the batter, mwah, and you're just getting just dead sauce. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know what an analogy to use, right? But
Oh,
boy, boy, I don't know, man. But yeah, no, Brazil definitely. I don't know. If I had to pick another team, I don't know. Like I would like to say Germany. I'd like to say with the squad they have, if they play if they played their strongest 11 and everybody's fit, and they take everyone to this World Cup, I could see them doing something. I don't get there. They've been in the latter stages, 100%. It's like everyone's worried about the heat in America, but a lot of these American stadiums are like air conditioned. So I
mm.
don't even feel like the European teams are going to struggle that much. It'll be warm out there, but everyone's going to have to deal with the heat. A lot of these South American players, they play in Europe. Their bodies are used to the cold at this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what summer is here or in Spain or in France, do you know what I mean? America's going to be more than what they're used to. They see this shit when they go to on holiday and that. So playing in it is different. Do you know what I mean? I expect a lot of the raw South American teams, the African nations, to really do well because a lot of them, their players play in the domestic leagues. Like obviously teams like Ghana, it's a bit different. Do you know what I mean? I'll always touch on the
I
Black
th-
Stars, but you
I
know what I
think
mean.
I think I've heard one thing. I think I don't know. You could double check if this statistic is true, but I think in whenever it's been a World Cup has been held in the Americas, a South
Mm.
American team always wins. But I think double check that. But I think I have heard a statistic like that. That every time it's heard is it's been hosted in the Americas, a South
Mm.
American team always wins it.
So what is that? Is that a hint at
I think
Brazil, the
that's a
wild
hint that
card, or
maybe
is that
maybe one of
Argentina?
these Argentina or maybe even Brazil might have a resurgence and come and win. But I think that is a thing that I did hear. I think every time it's been held in the Americas, I think a South American team has always won the World Cup. But I don't quote me on that. Double check that. But I think that is something that I believe I have heard. But anyway, it should be an interesting World Cup. To be honest, there's a lot of decent like teams that could potentially do something. Like even like you said, Germany there, they've got even that Walter Maid has been playing quite well in the Premier League as well. If he goes to
Come
Germany,
on,
starts because they've been needing a striker. They've been playing like Fulkrug up front for
you
a long
see,
time,
a
and they're just like, bro, like
minute.
come on. I don't really think Fulcrum's like he's a decent player, a
He,
good player, but I don't
but
really think if
he's
you're
not international
trying
ready
to
to
be
be.
if you're trying to go and be winning the big tournaments and you're needing a
Come
star striker,
on,
I don't think you have like a Nick
he's
Folk
not
thing
he's not
as your
closer.
star
He's not
striker.
Podolski. You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
them
yeah,
man
yeah. He
said,
ain't
come on,
Miroslav. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He ain't Miroslav. He ain't that guy like that. But
them man were
yeah,
stars.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah. Even as well, the thing is, even as well with Podolski and Miroslav Klose, it's like even necessarily there were time periods that they weren't even stars at their clubs, but for
but they
Germany,
were
they were
on. Yeah,
stars.
they were
They were stars for
stars.
Germany. Like Miroslav Klose is a Germany legend, but then if you look at his
Oh,
career, like there were certain times where he went to certain clubs. Like he didn't have the most illustrious club career. Like obviously he played for Bayern,
yeah. No,
played
he
for
played for some good
Lazio,
clubs,
but
but
he's gone around different places. But then for Germany, he was the guy. They
he
knew
was
when they were going
force.
into an international tournament, they were bringing Miroslav Klose there. And
Come
Miroslav Klose, I
on.
believe, like he was he became the top like his last World Cup. He became the top scorer in World Cup history. Like
Come on. Come
Miroslav
on.
Klose, like
What a
he
way to
like yeah,
sign off. Man
yeah.
said, yep,
I don't know.
done.
And he won the World Cup as well. Like you
Come
can't
on,
knock the guy.
bro. Come on.
Yeah, you
And
can't
even
knock the guy. But yeah,
Podolski, come
so
on.
he's yeah,
Like
Podolski as well.
he was that guy for them. And
Yeah.
after the way he was at Arsenal, and you see his Arsenal career compared to his Germany career, especially at that time where he was doing so well for Germany, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? When you just what happened? But anyway,
Yeah, yeah, yes. But anyway, let's move on to the other continent now, the African continent. There's been a lot of stuff
come
that's been
on,
going on there. So
come on.
Nigeria's been knocked out of the World Cup. What a surprise! Shambolic organization,
Ah,
shambolic team.
bro.
Ozyman wasn't really playing, but even though it wasn't really an excuse, Nigeria is one team that it doesn't matter how good a squad that we can have or what type of star players we have, the team will always perform below its level. Like it's just one of those teams
Ah,
that's
you
just
say that though, but you
they
lot have
always
been
do.
turning up for African nations. So this is what I
Again,
didn't understand.
look at the last African nation. This is even a prime example of just what Nigeria love to do. The same team that we battered 4-0 in the group stage, we go and play them in the final and we lose.
I know,
They sack their manager mid-tournament. They get to the
I know.
final, you beat them 4-0 before. They go and they beat us in the final. That's a typical
It's crazy,
that's
isn't
that's typical Nigeria. Like they always find new ways to amaze and just
it?
but like that's what it is. Like they're just a joke of a team. The coach after they lose to Congo. He starts making accusations that the Congo team were
Voodoo with
using
that.
voodoo, and it's just like, come on, bro.
Man said the
Like,
witch
come
doctor
on,
was on the
bro.
side doing the
Like,
thing. I know, I
like
see
no
it.
nobody's already taking the team seriously. Now you're busy trying to say that the other team was using voodoo. That's why you lost. Like, come on, bro. Like,
Oh no.
come
Man
on, bro.
did that in the
Like,
world press. But you know what it is?
my guy needs to read the room, bro. Like this ain't Nollywood. Like you can't go like if it was Nollywood, you could go there and start talking about witchcraft. They'll start cheering for us. But then you can't be giving excuses like that in your post match interview about that's the
Oh,
reason why you lost.
stop.
No tactical analysis, nothing. It's just that yeah, they did voodoo.
Yeah, you
But
don't want to
then
eat the L, but do you know what it is? I feel like you're right. What you said about Nigeria is it's mad because you lot have always had a history of having world class players, man. I'll give you lot your flowers. I won't even say that because if you think about the type of players and caliber you've had in your squads and the clubs they've played at, they're world class players. They're all top leagues in Europe, in across the world, but in Europe especially. Do you know what I mean? All in
mm,
Europe's top five leagues. So when I see you lot underperform, I'm just like, because you know what it is? It hurts. Because I remember, especially when you lot won your last African Nations, I'm just like, wow, one for us. Like, you lot are doing the most, like, and you're like, actually winning your home nation championship. It makes sense. Do you see what I mean? Like,
mm,
so then when I'm seeing now this, I'm just like, I know the quality, and do you know what? I know people will say, "Oh yeah, but there's players like a Wobie in the squad." But man's useful. I've seen a Wobie do bits in the African nations. Do you know what I mean? I've seen him contribute, not on some. I'm here to take part. That I will actually go out there and do something for my team. Do you know what I mean? For my country. Like you've got one of the best strikers in the world in Victor, and I know obviously I don't know what it is with certain players like crying out injury and certain things like that. It just don't make no sense to me, man. I don't know. Anyway, like it's not for me to tear apart the Nigerian Super Eagles. I think they're one of them teams where if they're in that competition, they'll cause problems for any team.
Mm,
But it's the
or they can not cause problems to anybody as well. Like that's one of those
I
ones. That,
know, I
like,
know, I
like
know.
they're one of those teams where there's either they're on their day or they're not. There's no like in between where they can just have like
I
a
know.
decent performance. It's either they're very good or they're just terrible. So either way, they're out of the World Cup. Congrats to Congo. I know one of my Congolese boys is so happy that he's going to see
Oh,
them
stop.
qualified for the World Cup. So
These
yeah,
men are them waistlines are
shout
gonna
out to
be
him.
all of
Shout
that.
out to him. These men will be wearing leopard print trousers and leather
Oh yeah,
jackets
man, with the
to-
with the
with the
with
pointy
the boots.
shoes.
We
Yeah,
oh
with them pointy shoes.
stop. These
They'll be
men will
wearing
be
that to
giving it
the
all of that.
they'll be wearing that to the World Cup. So we'll have to
Oh
look
man,
at some sappers out in the Americas. So we'll see
I'm telling
we'll
you,
see what type of style they bring that side. So yeah, congrats to them anyway.
come
Well,
on,
also as well, Ghana. Want to touch on Ghana? How they doing?
come on. Uh, hey, I'm gassed. Do you know what? Yeah. Like after not qualifying for African nations, it hurt. Like that's one competition we just qualify for. It's not a we don't try to qualify. We qualify for this competition. Even if we don't win it, we're in this competition every time it comes around. To not qualify for it and to see like, yeah, man, it hurt. So to see us qualify for the World Cup, and we looked a bit shaky in the group as well. It weren't smooth sailing for us. Like, yeah, we topped the group eventually. But if you see a couple of our early ones, like our early games, oof, I was questioning. I was questioning, but you know what? Our players have actually turned up, and the vibes that I'm getting from this new version of the Ghanaian team is the same vibes I got, in 210, 214. Do you know what I mean? Where we were doing the most, and it's nice to see that it's come back around. Will we obviously qualify out of our group? Depends on what I mean, how it goes. We'll find out. Has the draw been done yet?
No, no, no.
It's this December, right, or January? I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's once all the obviously once all the qualifying is fully done, then
Yeah,
like
yeah,
2 months after that they'll do it. Well, I'm not sure exactly when it is, but yes, it hasn't happened yet.
but
It's still
as I said, it'll be interesting to see who we get in the groups. Like we've had it before, where we weren't expected to come out of our groups, and we've done it. We've finished second and got decent draws, and
to
yeah,
be honest, I think this World Cup is expanded, hasn't it? So I think there's gonna
yeah,
be, I think it's gonna be the groups are not gonna be as tough as they used to be. So I think there's gonna be a lot more teams that are gonna be qualifying for the knockout round. So I think there's gonna be more scope for more upsets to happen because I think there's gonna be a lot of smaller teams.
yeah. But that's the problem. There's a lot of smaller teams who,
Oh,
if you see
there's
them in.
also a lot of smaller teams that are gonna get like be used as cannon fodder as well. So, but
No,
so
I know.
So,
But
but yeah, we'll see. I think overall it probably is a good thing that maybe more teams are able to participate because I think the more
mm,
participation, the more you'd be able to hopefully develop football in those countries and maybe help
yeah,
them,
100%.
yeah, just grow as a country in terms of football. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see how that goes. What about your thoughts on all these English players now trying to come back to Ghana now that they qualify for the World Cup?
Oh, brother, do you know what? I'm in two minds about this, yeah. And okay, so my head says take them and take them. Just take them, put them in the squad. You don't have to play them, but take them because it makes sense. These men are Prem-ish proven. They're going to play a certain type of way, which will help, especially as they are attacking players. Less Nketiah, more obviously Hudson. Like Nketiah's decent. Like he's decent. He's not. great, but he's decent. Like in a jam, you need a striker. You need to bring somebody on fresh legs. I'm not gonna say no to Nketiah. I'm not gonna say he's gonna grab me a goal, but I'll put him in there in it because there's a potential for it. With Hudson, if he turns up, do you know what? He could actually do bits in this team on the left. So it's one of them ones where my head says yes, my heart says no in it because my heart says these men have already been through qualifying, flying to all these countries, doing over 6 hours flights and all of that back and forth. Club football as well ain't easy, and you have to remember you're not playing for top 20 in the world or top 15 in the world. Do you know what I mean? Where there's a certain kind of level that you're traveling around in and all of that. You know, even in South Americas and being in the Argentina squad, Brazil squad. Do you know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
even I don't know, what is it? Like even Chile and them countries there. There's a certain level. Do you know what I mean? And hierarchy within that. And within that hierarchy, where you're traveling to affects that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and when I say that, I mean as in like it's Ghana. So the countries you're traveling to, do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean this is any disrespect to any other country because you know all the countries back home in the motherland are beautiful. But like when you're traveling to, I don't know, um, give me an obscure country in Africa, Zambia, not as obscure, but you know what I mean. Like, and you're going there, and yeah, we know countries are developing and whatever have you, but it's still hard. You've got to Africa's a huge continent. When you're flying down south and all of these places to do qualifying, it's not easy. Like so, yeah. No, I've got to say these guys should have been there for the struggle. What did Rick Ross say? If you weren't with me shooting in the gym, do you see it? You know, it's the truth. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah, they definitely
truth.
definitely weren't shooting in the gym. They're just after the shoot rounds already done, they're coming for all the for all the plaudits afterwards and all the snacks
Do you know
and
what? Do you know
biscuits
what
afterwards.
do you know what it reminds me of? You remember when John Terry did Full Kit Wanker when what's it called? Chelsea won. What did they do? Was it champs?
Yeah, you were suspended for the
Yeah,
final,
bro. Come
and then
on,
they won, and
man,
then he game
and
on.
man
Like, yeah,
put the
man, I did
full
it.
kit. That's the equivalent of what these men are trying to do. And like, obviously, in my heart, that's what my heart says. In my head says it's logical to take them because you've got other players like Samir, you've got Prem players, you've got a couple men who are playing in Europe. So that style of certain way you're trying to play, it's
Do you,
gonna
do you know
work
what?
at
Do
having
you know
that.
what it's like? It's like university where like you're in like a group project, and then like the rest of the group just does everything, and then like you have just two people there that just come and just stand in front of the presentation, and then still
I'm
get all the
telling
credit
you,
as the
you
rest.
know, nodding, doing all the and look here. You know when men are talking about the slideshow, these men are pointing like that was the
Man didn't put
contribution.
one slide together. Man didn't do one bit of research.
Oh,
But they're like,
bro.
all right, you could read this. Cool.
But you know there's potential there, and that's the maddest bit about it. Do you know what? It's so
Mm.
sad. And do you know what? I'm going to touch on this subject a bit deeper than Ghana, innit? Because it's something that's bothered me for years. And I've always said, you know what? Yeah, players of any ethnicity, regardless if you're like English, you know, if you're Ghanaian, Nigerian, Jamaican, I've always said that, yeah, if both your parents, bloodline wise, are from a certain country, like, I don't know, say for instance, the countries I've mentioned, I don't know, Bangladesh, wherever, you should go play for them countries because that's your bloodline. Like, I get it. You're born in a different country via passport, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, obviously, you want to rep your home nation where you were born in, and I can understand that. But I just felt for the basis of like sports and stuff like that, it makes it not a fairer playing field, but a fairer playing field, if you see what I mean. Like, think about it. Like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but what would France have without Team Africa and FC Africa, bro?
Yeah.
Do you see it? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of teams like that. What would Germany be without FC Turkey, bro?
To be honest, I think Germany affected a little bit less, but France is definitely a
No,
massive.
but there was a stage, bro. Half of that German team, that first team, like at least 4 or 5 players, all Turkish descent, bro. Your Khediras, your Özils, Do you see what I mean? Your
I
Emre
think
Chan.
Sabira was like Tunisian or Moroccan or something.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, but
But you see where I'm going with this, innit? Like,
Gondwan, Shahin at one point, obviously
come on, bro.
Özil. Yeah, there's quite a few of them, to be fair.
So
But
I've always thought like through bloodline that it should be like that. But I I guess that's my personal view in it. I just see it just because I just want to enjoy football and just see, like all these nations, like look at Mbappe, like man could be playing for was it Cameroon and that or
yeah, I think he's like
Algeria.
Cameroonian and Algerian or something like that.
Come on, bro. Like to see these teams like level up in football, knowing that they've got players. Like look at is it Holland? Like half of their black players are from Suriname.
Suriname, yeah. Suriname.
So imagine now these times now Suriname will be hitting hitting
Yeah,
quarterfinals of the World
yeah,
Cup, bro. Like
literally.
facts.
Suriname would have had, what was it, two Ballon d'Or winners? Actually, no, wait, one Ballon d'Or winner because Ruud Gullit won Ballon d'Or. But I think Rijkaard was even top three that season. So they would have had two people in the top three of the Ballon d'Or one at one point. So yeah, they've had some quality players come through from that small and the nation's even a very small nation. In South America as well, technically. Technically a
Come
South
on, bro.
American country. So it's a bit crazy. But
And this
yeah,
is it.
no,
Like
I do.
even if you look at it, like look at England for instance, perfect example. Come on, man, Saka should be playing for Nigeria, bro. Saka should be playing for Nigeria, bro. Like, come on,
To be honest, the way
like
Nigeria now, I don't think anybody should put through the pain and the
I'm saying right
suffering,
now, yeah.
the pain and the suffering of having to play for Nigeria.
I
That like
look.
Nigeria, like that, like Nigeria national team is just like a microcosm of the the country itself. At certain times you love
Oh,
it. At
bro.
certain points there's certain points you hate it.
No,
Yeah,
I get it. I get
it's
it.
something.
It's a long day, isn't it? It's a long day for you, man. Still, but don't worry, man. You man can come support your cousins,
It's
bro.
good.
It's
It's
all
good.
right. Come support us, bro. Like, you know what I mean? We're there. We're there. We're doing it for Africa, bro. You know what I mean? Like Algeria did the last World Cup. Like we did the World Cup before. Come on, man.
Nah. I'm supporting England. Go on, England.
Oh, this guy, man said it's coming home. I know what it is, yeah.
England.
I'm torn in it, yeah. It's whoever gets further. And do you know what the maddest thing was? The last time that Ghana was in the World Cup, we actually got further than England. Imagine that. Whoa. Imagine, I
Oh
swear
man.
that's a mad stat to have, yeah. Guys, man knows my thing. Come
I can't
on.
lie though. The part about England. You know when England do well in tournaments, it's
Mm.
always vibes in the UK. Like I remember
Yeah, of
that last.
course it is.
I remember. It was it good? Was it the World Cup 2022? I think it was the
Yeah,
World
yeah.
Cup. That World Cup was vibes. Like when we're going to work after work, we'll go to the bars, watch the
Everyone's
games. They'll
happy.
have this up. Like,
Everyone's
oh, it
happy.
was lit. And even the World Cup before that as well, because even that summer, I remember that summer was lit. There was one of our guys that had like he used to work in some place in like Liverpool Street in central London. So he had like a rooftop bar in his workplace. We used to go there. They had a
Oh,
projector. We'd watch the game. There'll be free drinks. Like like, World Cup always brings out the best. Well, not even just World Cup, like international tournaments in general. I think always bring the best out of the people in the UK. So
yeah,
it'll be good
100%.
vibes. I think though,
Cause
I think even what kind of hit the last World Cup a bit badly before, but it was still good vibes. Was just the fact that it happened in the winter. But even the fact that it still
mm,
happened in the winter, it was still good vibes. Even when everybody
come
was even
on,
still going out to try and watch the games,
come
even
on.
when it was cold. So yeah, back in the summer this time. So hopefully you can have that summer vibes with the summer tournament, and then, yeah. But hopefully England
Honest.
do well because if England do well, then it's gonna be it'll be a good summer in the UK. I'll definitely say that.
I'm praying. Do you know what? If by some sheer dumb luck and miracle that Tuchel pulls off what Southgate couldn't, do you know what? He'll get knighted. Imagine a German being knighted. Whoa. Whoa.
Well,
But he
The
deserve it.
Germans, the Germans are the people that are giving out the knighthoods currently.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Know your history. Know your history, guys. But it's the truth. So you know what? Yeah, but no, on a serious
Let's just
note.
say their name wasn't always Windsor.
See, you even get the politics. Come on. Nah, but on a real, like, I'm hoping England turn up. Like this whole thing with Bellingham and his attitude and all of this. Like it's jarring. And you know what? I don't know if it's a sign of a good, great player to be, or currently is, or if it's just and I don't really want to refer to it as this, but like, is it him being a diva in this situation and just throwing his toys out the pram because he's used to Real and all of that? But me personally, I don't know, man. Like, he's such a good player. I wish he'd just put his shit aside for now and just think, fuck it. Do you know what? This is England. Like, I may not play in the country, but this is my country. Like, let me turn up because he is amazing as a player. He can grab goals on his own when he turns up.
Another interesting thing that Tuchel did say about that, he said that Phil Foden, Bellingham, and Foden, Bellingham, and was it Kane? Like, I think they all can't play
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
so
true.
they all can't
It's
play
true.
together.
And you know what? Who'd you get to work? Me personally, I'm going with Kane and Bellingham in it. I'm playing Bellingham as my shadow striker. He's my obviously Cam, 100% he's the Cam, but I'm playing him shadow striker role because you know what? You know what Kane's like. Kane don't mind setting up, and you know Bellingham, he's got to finish, man. So do you know what? Them two together,
Kane,
if they actually find some chemistry, yeah, it'll work.
Kane's looking like he wants to go for Ballon d'Or. So if England are able to pull off World Cup, that's Ballon d'Or secured for him.
Yeah, 100%, a
He's a
hundred.
hundred percent secured.
With this resurgence he's had last 2 seasons, three. What is
I
it?
don't think I don't think it's a resurgence. I think it's a continuation.
Do you think?
I think he's been an elite striker for like the last part of a decade.
No, 100%. But when he first joined Bayern, I really feel like that first
Bro,
season,
he
even
joined.
though he was
Bro, he scored like four. Didn't he score like 40
no, no,
goals in
no,
his
no.
first season?
That's exactly what I'm. No, no, no. I weren't even going to discredit him like that. What I'm trying to say is, even though he did so well, like Bayern as a whole, I feel like not failed him, but just failed in general. Like they weren't getting over the line when it came to certain things. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think that was more to do with just the club in itself because
no, but that's
now,
exactly what I mean.
yeah, yeah. So I think that was more to do with the club itself. But the Bayern right now are looking like the best team in Europe. So
Mm,
if everything goes right for Kane and he carries on playing well, and if he touch wood stays away from injury, then there's a
yeah,
lot of things that are possibilities from this year. You can easily win. I think pretty much Bundesliga. I think that Bayern are going to wrap that up. I don't think they have any
yeah, it'll be
competition.
so.
Then
Come
if
on.
they are able to secure Champions League, that'll be a massive, massive statement for them and cementing themselves as one of the best teams in Europe. And then if Kane then goes on to win the World Cup after that, then there's nobody else you can give the Ballon d'Or to after that,
No,
especially with the type of numbers that he's putting up is ridiculous.
well, yeah, say that. There's a lot of bias out here, man. Like I know,
I don't,
obviously,
but you can't. If he wins World Cup and he wins Champions League, there's no way you can deny the guy. With his numbers and what he's won, he would have ticked all the boxes.
yeah,
There's
but
no one else you can give it to after that.
yeah, but bro, who was it? I see something the other day, and it was like this was during the whole Ronaldo Messi era of Ballon d'Or, and who was it? There was a player who I think he outscored both of them, or at least one of them, and had a much better overall season, like
No,
competition
they
wise
didn't
than him.
outscore them, but I think what you talking about. I think it might. Are you talking about the Schneider year, where Schneider won like the
Was it
treble and
Schneider?
everything, got to the World Cup final,
Yeah, I can't
but
remember
then they
who it
still
was,
gave it
but
to Messi.
yeah,
They
yeah,
still gave
yeah,
it to
yeah,
Messi.
yeah, yeah. I think that may have been the same thing that I've seen still. It was either
But
Schneider
the
or
only thing I'll
Son.
say about that, the only thing I'll say about that era though, is that in terms of just the sheer numbers that these guys were putting up,
Yeah, it was
like
silly. It was silly.
I think it was just a case where, okay, like technically these other players have had a better overall season, but were they better players than a guy that's scoring like 73 goals in a year, or a
Yeah, I
hundred, or a
know.
hundred, or 100 goals in like a calendar year? Like, no, he's not better than
Bro, they're
he's not a better
silly.
player than these
Yeah, no,
type
no,
of
no.
had that.
In
But
regards to
has he
that,
had a
you're
better
doing
season?
machine
Yeah,
shit.
he's won a treble. Yeah, we can give him that. But he hasn't scored 73 goals in a season. He hasn't scored like
You
100
see
goals.
it.
Yeah, like the bad thing about that type of era, that the era that these two had, like obviously it was great for them because they were just putting up historic numbers. But I think a lot of players that had seasons that in any other era would have been seen as generational type seasons,
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
overshadowed by the sheer
Come
numbers
on.
and sheer consistency of guys that were literally without fail scoring 60 goals every season. Like their average was like 50 goals a season. Like when you're putting up them type of
Imagine.
numbers, is ridiculous. Like there's not
It's
much you,
silly. It's
you don't
silly.
really leave room for much else for much other players to breathe. So I
Mm,
understand it, but then yeah, I think now we're getting back into the parity type of era now where I think you're going to see a lot more different Ballon d'Or winners because I think the playing field is a bit more level now. Whereas at that
yeah.
time, those two were just
They
clearly
were, oh,
above
bro, they were
everybody else.
machines. They were just
And they
machines.
would, yeah, like you said, they were just machines, week in, week out. Go like I think there was a stat that I saw. I think like Messi by himself in that. I think in that 2012 season where he scored was it like 96 in a calendar year and like 73
Something
goals
silly like
overall.
that.
I think there was a period in time. I think they took it from like was it February to February. I think he scored more. We had more goals and assists than pretty much every team in Europe, basically just by himself.
Imagine.
More goals than assists. Like by top teams in Europe, like I think they'll put in the stats up against like teams like Bayern, United, all these
Imagine.
teams at the time, and he in like that calendar year by himself had more goal contributions than entire teams. Like that's ridiculous. Like
That's crazy.
it's ridiculous. Like
That's
that's what I'm trying to say.
absolutely
Like
crazy.
those type of numbers that those guys were putting up. I think uh, if you weren't like I don't know, it's gonna be one of those things where you looking back at it from the future onwards. I don't really think people are gonna type of numbers or the
Bro,
type of thing.
yeah, we'll never see that again. Like,
Yeah.
you had to be very lucky to live through that era and
Yeah,
see that.
I don't think for a while you're gonna see that again. Because even right now we have like world class quality players, but they're not putting up those type of numbers. Like Mbappe is a world class phenomenal player. He's getting like 40 goals. He's not touching 60,
Yeah, no
70 this
way.
season.
No way.
And he's not doing that for a good 5 seasons straight that these men were doing. They were
Nah, he
scoring
will do it.
55, 60 goals a season for like 6, 7 seasons in a row.
I
Like
know. I know. It
it's
was
not
silly.
that type of is thing is not happening again. It's something else. But yeah, I think we're getting into the era now. I think the players in this era, I think are
Mm.
gonna get their flowers a lot more because of that. Because there is a lot. I was gonna use the word fairer, but I guess I can use the word fairer because those two kind of were unfair. So I think
Mm.
the playing field is a bit more level now. It's a bit fairer. So I think a lot more players going to get their recognition because I think back then there was a lot of players that were quality players that I don't think are going to get looked back on favorably. Like even somebody like a Neymar, which in any other era would have had a few Ballon d'Ors, maybe at least
Oh,
one or two.
100%.
But because he played again in this era, he had zero. A player
Come on.
like Ribery again when Bayern won the treble and he was one of the best players on the planet that season. Him and Robben just on each wing, just wreaking absolute havoc. He couldn't get a ballon. In any
Oh, imagine.
in any other era, somebody like him would have won a Ballon d'Or if he had that type of season. So it's just one of those ones where I think a lot
Mm.
of even again Wesley Schneider, treble winning season, Diego Milito, like these type of players in that season wouldn't begrudge any of them winning Ballon d'Or in that because of that type of season that they had. But
Mm.
again, because they were in the
And for
Messi,
performances.
yeah, exactly. But because they were in the Messi and Ronaldo era, those type of players, I think history is going to be is hopefully it doesn't because I think if you lived through it and you watched those players play, I think you would always know how quality of a player that these players were. But I think you know how things are in the future. People will just look back and be like, "Oh, what this guy only did this." Like Messi and Ronaldo were doing this, and then they're just
Come on.
yeah,
And it's just silly. And it's just, do you know what? I think, do you know what, guys? We'll do an episode on that. The Ballon d'Or winners who never were, so to speak.
yeah,
So we'll
you know what
run
we could
through
do?
like,
We can do a segment where we can go through the Ballon d'Ors in the Messi and Ronaldo era, and then we can take them out, and then we can see who was going to be the deserving winner if we were to take them out of the
mm,
picture.
I think that'll be a very good episode. So
Yeah,
we'll come back to
I
that
think
one. So we
yeah,
will.
we'll definitely do that. That's a good idea for an episode. We could definitely do that. We'll take them out, see, and give the players their flowers of who could
Mm,
potentially win that.
mm, we'll make sure
So
that one gets real viral with that one because, you know, certain players need their flowers all these years later.
Yeah.
After Ronaldo and Messi are still going as well. It's mad.
Yeah, it's actually true.
Oh,
They're
stop
even
it.
still going. Yeah, obviously not at their peaks anymore, but
Yeah, but bro, like
yeah.
to still be going at this age, both of them, regardless of
Mhm.
their respective countries they're playing in, bro, it's like, and the thing is, even though they're not as consistent as they were, they're still big parts of the teams that they're playing, and they're still scoring here, there, everywhere,
Mm.
assisting. Like, yeah, you change a game, but what they say, form is temporary, class is permanent, and any team. Come on, look at Ronaldo. He came back to United and absolutely did dirt. I don't care what anybody says. He had a successful homecoming. Do you see it? Like the team may
Successful
have
in
not been
terms
great.
of him
For
personally.
him, yeah, for him, yeah. Forget the team, bro. We were trash.
For him personally, yeah. I think the thing is with Ronaldo, I think it was a two-edged sword with that whole thing. So I think yes, he himself he played well, and in terms of his personal performances that season, you can't blame him. But what I think did happen is him coming in did disrupt the dynamic of how the team is able to play. Because if you have somebody like Ronaldo, who's going to be in the team, who's not going to be the person that's going to be pressing as much as you want somebody to press, but he is going to get you the goals that you need him to get you. You need to make sure that you build a team that is structurally solid enough to cope with him not being able to press, but then still be able
Yeah,
to
that's
utilize
but
the
that's the
strengths of.
coach's fault. That
Yeah, so it's a two-edged sword. So yes, he wasn't bad. He was actually good, very good. One of our he was our best player that season. But I think
brother,
him coming
brother,
in,
I swear he was top scorer that season
yeah, he was our top
for our
scorer.
club.
Yeah,
So
he was. He
imagine
was.
that. Like, are you mad? If I knew I had Ronaldo for at least one whole season, me personally, as a avid football manager fan, are you sick? I'm building that whole team around him. I'm making that team so defensive
But
it's
the thing is,
unbelievable.
look at the way they did that summer. They did it in the backwards way. So they bought everybody else. They bought in your Sanchos and all these other young players that they were bringing in because they're thinking they're going to play high tempo pressing, transitional football. And then towards the end of towards the end of the summer when it was going into like the first games of the season, they just buy Ronaldo. Like they remember they bought him quite late on in the summer. It wasn't early. So
Mm,
they basically had all of their summer plans, got everything all sorted out, and then last minute found out that Ronaldo was available, saw that he potentially might be going City, and they were like, "Nah, we can't let that happen," and then they bought him.
there you go.
Yeah,
Come
so
on.
so that's what happened. But that's kind of how United's transfer policy was. Like there was no real aim direction. It was just okay. We've got
Brother,
money.
it
We've
was
got money. Let's
wild.
let's see let's see who we can
And
spend money on. Okay.
and do you know what? And that's the saddest thing. Do you know what? And I was so critical of Almiron when he first come in. Because obviously, as a United fan, I want to see results. I don't want to see my team getting pumped every other week. Like nobody wants to see that. Do you think I wanted to see 16th place? Do you think I've ever seen 16th place? But I've never seen the bottom half of the table as a United fan. Forget 16th.
Yeah.
Do you see it? So to go from that to kind of what we're seeing now, and I'm not saying that we're gonna win the league because obviously we're very far from that, but it's very encouraging to see that you know what we're moving in the right direction. To be fair, any direction is better than 16th, and to be fair, I don't think that can be recreated again, not by this United team, no way. But you know, you look at you know what's his name was going through was what's it called Tag when he was there
hmm
and you can see the difference like you know even previous managers even from before then and do you know what I can't remember who said it. I think it was Rashford who said it. When you play for so many managers and everyone's trying to bring in their own system and they never have the time to sit in and bed it in properly,
Yeah.
you're going to have problems. And then you're going to have all the players who are playing from the old manager system who
Yeah.
they brought in themselves and
That was
you're going to
United's
have a
biggest. That's United's biggest problem. What it was, we had multiple different managers that came in, bought the players that they
different
wanted to buy.
philosophies.
They will then leave. Another manager will come in, start buying their players for their philosophy. So we just have a mixed match of just different players with for different managers with different philosophies. So I think one thing that Amarim is doing well is clearing out the people that he doesn't want and then bringing in his own players.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see how it goes. Like you said, it's been going a bit better recently. I think the jury's still out. I'm not 100% either way. I hope he does well. I'm not 100% convinced on him as of yet because I still think there's still a lot more to do. But the signs,
100%.
like you said, are encouraging. So hopefully he carries on showing those encouraging signs, and then hopefully after a good 12 years of just mismanagement, hopefully we can finally be moving forward and not have like another false start dawn where we finish second and then suddenly just everything collapses. So let's see how
No,
it goes.
don't.
But yeah, I think we can pretty much leave it there now. Touched on a few
Yep.
topics. It was good seeing you people again. Hopefully,
Aye,
we'll
come
be
on.
back this week. Maybe just to give a a weekend preview of the upcoming fixtures, and then yeah, maybe cover a few other topics, um, just to get things the ball rolling for the weekend fixtures. But yeah, it's been me, AU, my co-host Don Salsa.
Come on. Hey, guys, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. We here. Come on.
Yep. Take care, people. Until next time. Peace.
All right. Peace.